Hey, welcome to the Richard Sherman podcast brought to you by The Volume. I appreciate you joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe to our videos. We'll love to see you every week. Welcome back to the Richard Sherman podcast. It's championship week, Mitchell. Who you got?
It is. Let's start in the AFC, Rich. Bengals at Chiefs. We're high on Cincy. Can they make it 4 in a row against Mahomes? The hobbled Mahomes, might I add, Rich?
They beat Mahomes healthy. They beat Mahomes with Tyreek. Mitchell, their defensive coordinator has been putting together some very masterful game plans. Louis Riddick, we were just talking on Twitter about it. My goodness, he is putting on a masterclass. And I really don't understand why he hasn't got a head coach job or even an interview, but maybe he doesn't want to be a head coach. Maybe he just wants to be the defensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals forever. But he's doing a heck of a job. They're using their talent, and their defensive and offensive lines are bullies. They went into Buffalo, into the cold where the Bills Mafia is, Mitchell, and they bullied them on both sides of the ball. 3 backups on the offensive line, 3, and they bullied them. They're on a 10-game winning streak now. Like Joe Burrow, when he plays Cincinnati, Mitchell, he doesn't just like scrape by against Cincinnati. He plays really well. He's 72% completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 121 passer rating. That's against Kansas City, Mitchell. In the 3 games, he's 3-0. Woo! And Mahomes is hobbled. I've had high ankle sprains, Mitchell. It took me out of the first Super Bowl we won. It took me out. I was on crutches the rest of the day. I was not playing a football game the next week. I'm not covering anybody. It sounds good. He played through and soldiered, Mitchell. He deserves a ton of credit because I don't know how he did it. But once that swelling got in there, the pain, it's not enough painkillers in the world to think he's going to go out there and be better. They'll probably try to, put an air cast on and try to do their best. But this isn't going to be Jacksonville's defensive line. They didn't play with a sense of urgency. They didn't smell blood in the water. That was the problem in that game. When he got hobbled, it's unfortunate. You never want to see anybody get hurt. But when you see somebody down, you smell an opportunity. And then they let Chad Henne go in there and go 98 yards and score a touchdown. And then you let him come back and throw the ball to Travis Kelce over and over and over and over again. That's not a team with killer instinct. The Cincinnati Bengals, they got killer instinct, Mitchell. They're not going to allow that. The NFL playoffs are here. If your team's in, it's going to be fun. But what if you could actually be at the game? That'd be fun. For last-minute amazing deals on tickets to your favorite NFL team, check out Game Time, the fastest-growing app in the U.S. If your team is out of it, no sweat. They have tickets to NCAA, NHL, NBA games, even concerts and comedy shows, too. So if you're in San Francisco, you want to see the Niners, download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem the code Sherman for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, enter the code Sherman, that's SHERMAN, for $20 off. No matter where you live, get out and have some fun this week. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
I don't disagree with you. And I love me some Joe Burrow. He has certainly become the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite, right? But Mahomes is a competitor. And this is a guy, hobbled or not, he's going to give it his all. I mean, 22 for 30 in that second half after the high ankle sprain, Rich. That's Patrick Mahomes' stat line, 195 yards and a touchdown. I mean, we know a lot of that went to Travis Kelce. I'm assuming your boys over in Cincy land are going to be game planning and prepping for a lot of Travis Kelce. But Richard, you cannot underestimate and understate the value of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the guy is going to play with one leg. In the words of Dan Campbell, I don't care if you got one ass cheek and 3 toes. Patrick Mahomes is going to kick your ass. So this game is the battle of the behemoths, right? And Vegas, ironically, had an opening line of 2.5 in favor of Kansas City. That point spread has now shifted, favoring the Bengals, -1.5.
Oh, Mitchell, I meant to get on that. I meant to get on it while it was at 2.5 because I know there's a lot of money in my account that will be directed to that game, Mitchell, because when they played in week 13, Travis Kelce, who had 14 catches last week, had 6 targets, 4 catches. Because the Cincinnati Bengals know how to cover. They know, hey, he's their go-to guy. We're going to give him extra attention. They're not going to be like the Jacksonville Jaguars and say, hey, best tight end in the league, first team all-pro, wide open, we'll put a D end on him. We'll put a linebacker on him. Well, we'll put somebody. Who else do we have? Just throw somebody on him. We'll cover him. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to act accordingly, and they're going to cover him well. Now, Patrick Mahomes deserves a ton of credit. If he wins this game, Mitchell, put his name in lore because it's incredible. Anybody who has had a high ankle sprain can attest that it is incredibly hard to move. There's no push off, there's no power, and it's his right leg. So it's his plant leg. He's power, you know what I mean? When he's throwing his passes and he still was able to finish that game, that's incredible. If he's able to beat the Cincinnati Bengals and come back and win the Super Bowl, there will be very few discussions about who the best quarterback in the National Football League is for the foreseeable future. There are very few questions about it now. But the way I see it, because everybody talks about Joe Burrow like he's not really talented. They like Patrick Mahomes, his arm talent, his athleticism. He's just so accurate, such a great player. Like his potential, his ceiling is just through the roof. And then they talk about Joe Burrow's like Joe Burrow's. He's just, he's a winner, but he doesn't have the arm strength and he doesn't have the arm angles and all. It's like Batman versus Superman. Superman got the superpowers, Mitchell. He got all. He can fly, super strong, faster than a speeding bullet, all that good stuff. That's Patrick Mahomes. But for some reason, when Batman, which is Joe Burrow, he got the belt, he got all the tricks, he got the receivers. So he got all the tools, Mitchell. He got the Batmobile. That's Jamar Chase. You got T. Higgins. You got Joe Mixon. He got all the tools, but he ain't got super speed and all that. But for some reason, every time Superman and Batman get together, Batman wins.
I love that analogy, Rich. I love me some Batman. You know what? I got Joe Burrow. I'm with you on this, Richard. Joe Burrow, this is his time. I believe he goes to Arizona, and I know you're going to hate this, but I believe the Cincinnati Bengals come out victorious in the Super Bowl. But let's shift to the NFC Championship game. I know you have a vested interest in your 49ers. I know you love this team. I know you love some Nicholas, John, Bosa, and Frederico, Edward, Warner, and I know Anthony. You love you some Talanoa Hufanga.
Yes, sir.
But Richard, they're entering murky waters. They're entering murky waters against a now somewhat healthy Jalen Hurts, a guy that is lethal on the run. 49ers have struggled against running quarterbacks now, Rich. This is new territory for them. Who do you like in this game? Remove the bias, please.
Mitchell, the bias can't be removed. It's permanent, like a stain, like a marker on your shirt, like a blood stain. Mitchell, it's not going anywhere. I got the 49ers. They're going into Philly and they're getting a win. Now, I do like the Philadelphia Eagles. The question marks about Lane Johnson's injury, he did a great job last week. Hassan Reddick, wow, he's having an incredible season. He's having a Pro Bowl, All-Pro year, was a menace last week. Then the secondary, you know the two corners, the two All-Pros, Big Play Slay and Brad B, they're out there doing it. They got a lot of talent in the secondary, and we're not even talking about everybody else. They got talented linebackers offensively all day, always open. A.J. Brown. But they don't stop the run on that defense. They are not great against the run. That's why they had to go get Ndamukong Suh. That's why they had to go pick people up. Now, that may change this week, but it hasn't changed. They're 24th against the run this season, Mitchell, and I expect the San Francisco 49ers to run the ball. Now, you are right. Jalen Hurts is going to run the ball. They're going to run RPO systems, but they have found ways to stop quarterbacks who have designed runs. When they're play action, when they're zone read, they can be stopped. They'll run stunts, Mitchell. We had the stunts package. It travels. And I know he's talking to Salah. He's talking to Dan Quinn. This stunts package they will do a great job against Jalen Hurts. They will force him to throw the ball to his very talented receiving core and Dallas Goedert. But they have not seen a guy like Frederico, Anthony, Warner. They have not seen Talanoa Hufanga sneak up from the tall grass, from the left or the right side. They're calling a great game plan. We're talking about Greenlaw. You don't even see the accolades about Greenlaw, but they should be there. He's there, and he ain't scared. Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward. You see the forced interceptions. He didn't make the play, but he's everywhere like Project Roaches. Like, you got to understand they're more than the sum of their parts. And then we get to the offense. You got Christian McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got George Kittle, the all-pro left tackle who you can slide away from. And then he plays patty cake with Micah Parsons. He played patty cake with Micah Parsons like their kids in the, hey, okay, where we going? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Mitchell. Like, he's the best in the league. So when you have a guy like that, you can slide away from him, Mitchell. And then we're talking about Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk, Mitchell, had a 1,000-yard season. And he's got some more big plays in there. Brock Purdy's going to get it done. I got San Fran.
I know you love San Fran. This is going to be an ultimate test for Brock Purdy. And let's not forget, Brock Purdy faced off against Jalen Hurts while they were in college. So these two have some history. Brock Purdy unfortunately lost that game, failed to convert a 2-point conversion at the end. But, you know, he fought the Cyclones from Iowa State, almost knocked off the Oklahoma Sooners led by Jalen Hurts. These two have history. Let's see if he can reverse it, Rich. But I want to get back to this defensive scheme that you were talking about, because for us commoners, the common layman, the person that didn't play professional football, much like myself, I'm interested to know, can you break down the stunts package? What do we as fans need to be looking for this Sunday?
The simplest way for me to put it is you'll see the end crash. So it'll either be Bosa or Ebukam, they'll crash down on the back. They got the back. So when they do that, the linebacker will abandon the A-gap that he usually has. So he usually sitting in the A-gap and everybody's gap. And then it's usually the D-end slides and has the back in the quarterback, and he got to make a decision. They don't do that. They make the D-end just commit and erase two gaps. So if he doesn't get there fast enough, then that A-gap, or they chip him or something and create a hole. Now they can get through that A-gap because it'll be wide open. But usually he crashes so hard, then they crash the D tackle into that gap as well. So they muddy it up. But the DN has the back. So no matter what, he's going for the back. So if they're play actioning or they're faking, he's going to tackle the back. And then Jalen Hurts goes around, the backer sweeps around, and he'll have the quarterback. So it'll be one-on-one with either Greenlaw or Fred. I think they feel good about that consistently. Now, if they're going play action RPO system, which they've done a lot of the season, then it'll be on Fred to diagnose that and be able to get out of that and still be in that window. And that's where Jalen Hurts has had a lot of success. I think they're going to be able to do it. I think they got answers, but I think Sirianni is going to have new wrinkles this week, and we'll see. We'll see. They brought some really cool pressure packages. You see Fred Warner can cover receivers down the field. DeMeco Ryans feels comfortable with that. I'm excited.